Oh, hey there, welcome back. Today we're gonna be batch making a whole bunch of snacks. So I feel like when it comes to snacks, I just want something quick. Like if you give me fruits or some crackers with hummus, I'm good to go. But it's nice sometimes if you've got snacks that are just a little bit different, a little bit more special. So sometimes what we do is we just batch make, kind of like meal prepping, a whole bunch of snacks that are really easy to put together, but they also keep really well, either in the fridge or in the freezer. So if you just batch make it one time, then you can enjoy it for days or even weeks to come. So let's dive right in. This first snack is my obsession. We're gonna be making some chocolatey coconut peanut butter balls. So to a food processor, we're gonna add 1 cup of peanut butter, about 3 large soft dates that we're gonna first remove the pits from, and then about a teaspoon of vanilla extract and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then we can pop the lid onto the food processor, and then we're just gonna blitz this up until it's nice and smooth. If you don't have a food processor, you don't need one. You could always just mash your dates in a bowl using a fork, but you're gonna need like super soft dates for that to work. If you don't have soft dates, you can always soak it in warm water or just add it to a food processor like we're doing. But in the case that you decide to mash it in a bowl with a fork, then you're just gonna add the rest of the ingredients to the bowl, give it a mix, and then you're good to go. Then we're gonna remove the blades from the machine and add in about 1 1/4 cup of unsweetened shredded coconut, and then just stir it in with a spoon. And using a tablespoon measure, we're gonna scoop up some of the peanut butter mixture and roll it into a ball using our hands, and then we can place it on a plate. And if you find that the mixture is too sticky and it doesn't form into balls easily, just add a little bit more shredded coconut and stir and try again. Then we're gonna place the balls in the fridge or freezer while we melt some chocolate. So for this, we're gonna need about 150 grams of chocolate in total, which can be melted in the microwave, stirring at 30-second intervals, or melted in a double boiler on the stove, like we're doing here. And then once the chocolate is melted, we're just gonna remove it from the heat. Now we can start to coat our peanut butter orbs in chocolate. I find the best way to do this is using 2 forks, just dunking the orbs straight into the melted chocolate and then letting the excess chocolate drip off between the prongs of the fork. It can help if you glide the other fork underneath it just to scrape away any excess chocolate. And then we're gonna gently place the balls on a parchment-lined tray or plate, and then just continue this process until all of the orbs are coated. If you'd like to use less chocolate in the recipe, you definitely can. You can just drizzle some chocolate over top of the orbs instead of dunking it into the chocolate, so it's up to you. Then while the chocolate is still wet, we can decorate the balls with some chopped peanuts or some toasted shredded coconut if you'd like. And then when the chocolate has hardened after a few minutes, these little snacks are ready to enjoy. They come together with only 6 ingredients. It's heavenly to enjoy with some coffee or tea, and it makes for the perfect midday snack or after dinner snack. These orbs can be stored in an airtight container in the fridge for about a week or in the freezer for up to 2 months. For the next recipe, we're gonna be making some savory sun-dried tomato and olive muffins. We're gonna begin first by chopping 1 large onion. The larger the onion is, the more delicious that oniony taste will be, so don't be afraid to go big. Plus, we're also gonna mince 4 cloves of garlic. We'll chop about 3/4 of a cup of sun-dried tomatoes and 2/3 of a cup of green olives. Then to a pan on medium-high heat, we're gonna add in just a little bit of oil, and then to it, we're gonna add the onion and garlic, and we're gonna cook this for about 3 to 5 minutes or until it's translucent. And then we're gonna add in about a teaspoon each of dried basil, dried oregano, dried thyme, and dried parsley. And we're gonna stir this all in, letting it cook for another 2 to 3 minutes so that the spices kind of just become nicely aromatic. And if you don't have any of the spices, don't sweat it, just add whichever ones you do have. Next, we can add in the sun-dried tomatoes and the olives. We're gonna cook this for an extra minute or 2, and then the pan can be removed from the heat and let sit to cool for a bit. Meanwhile, what we're gonna do is to a large bowl, we'll add 1 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour, along with 1 1/3 cup of chickpea flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then we're gonna mix this all together the best we can, and then we can add in the liquids, about 1 cup of cold water, 1/2 cup of olive oil, 1 1/2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar or regular white vinegar, and then we can mix everything together, but stop when some clumps are still in there, because then what we'll want to do is add in the onion and sun-dried tomato mixture from the pan straight into the bowl, and then we're going to be mixing again until it's just combined, but be careful not to overmix. We can then start to scoop this mixture into a lightly greased muffin tin, just dividing it between the wells evenly. And if you'd like, you can decorate the top of each muffin with an olive or a sprig of fresh thyme. And then we can pop this all in the oven to bake at 400 Fahrenheit or 200 Celsius for about 22 to 25 minutes, or until it's golden and a toothpick that's inserted into the center comes out clean. Once the muffins have cooled a little bit, they're already ready to be enjoyed, and I think they make for the perfect little portable snacks. They're moist on the inside, slightly crunchy on the outside, especially when they're just taken out of the oven. And the flavor kind of reminds me of focaccia with the Mediterranean ingredients that are used. Feel free to pack up any extra as well to store in the fridge for about 3 days or in the freezer for up to a month. Now for the final recipe, we're gonna be making some delicious roasted sesame snaps. Lovely to enjoy with some tea or coffee. They're great to carry with you as an on-the-go snack. Super simple to make. So to a medium bowl, we're gonna add in ½ of a cup of raw sesame seeds, 1/4 of a cup of raw pumpkin seeds, or you could use sunflower seeds, plus 1½ tablespoons of coconut sugar and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, along with ½ of a tablespoon of melted coconut oil. Then we're gonna give everything a toss and a mix, and we can transfer the mixture to a parchment-lined baking tray. We're then gonna add a second parchment paper on top, and then using a rolling pin or the side of a tall cup, we're gonna roll the mixture into a thin slab. We can then use our fingers to round the corners, making sure it's an evenly flat rectangular shape. If the sides are more flat than the center, the sides can tend to burn, so just try to make sure it's an even thickness throughout. Then we're going to pop this in a preheated oven at 300 Fahrenheit or 150 Celsius for about 18 to 20 minutes or until it's lightly golden. And then when it's removed from the oven, we want to let it sit and cool so that it hardens. And when it is cooled, we can then cut up the slab into small little bite-sized squares, and then we're ready to snack away. The recipe comes together with only 5 ingredients, and it makes a modest batch, but if you know you're gonna want more, you could easily double or triple the recipe. And then as for storage, the snaps can be kept on the counter for a few days, in the fridge for about a week, or you could store these in the freezer for a couple of months. Hopefully you've got some new snack ideas that you can try. Plus we've made several other snack videos in case you're interested for more ideas and inspiration. I'll link those videos for you in the description box below. That's also where you're gonna find the full breakdown to these recipes. And if you enjoyed today's video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. It always means a lot when you do. Thanks so much for hanging with us. Really appreciate it. Pickup Limes signing off, and we'll see you in the next video. Sprinkle some chocolate or drizzle chocolate over top of the orbs instead of dunking it into the chocolate. I feel like I said chocolate 20 times. If you'd prefer to use less chocolate in the recipe, you totally could by just sprinkling. Why do I keep saying sprinkling? Baby, that's such fake typing. Who types like that? But hey, I think that's it for today. Hopefully you've got some, no, don't laugh at me. Feedback for me? That's gonna help with my energy? I'm still tired, I'm still tired.
Did that work?